It's July 8th, and on this day in 1986, Namco's Return of Ishtar debuted in arcades. Namco's The Tower of Druaga has always been one of the strangest little blips in video game history. It was an RPG for arcades. That concept makes no sense at all. But in breaking the rules of common sense, Namco created a game that in a lot of ways was ahead of its own time. Its action-oriented approach to combat prefigured the remarkably similar The Legend of Zelda by a full 2 years, and its randomly generated dungeon layouts were doing the indie game roguelike thing 30 years before it was cool. But Druaga really got a shot in the arm when it came home to Nintendo's Famicom system. As one of the earliest games for the console, it made a huge impression on players, and its RPG-style complexity made a much better fit for home play than for arcades. Druaga's console success naturally inspired a sequel, 1986's The Return of Ishtar. It wasn't just a sequel, it was a direct sequel. The Tower of Druaga saw protagonist Gilgamesh climbing the eponymous tower to rescue Princess Ki. The Return of Ishtar saw Gil and Ki both traveling together back down to the ground floor to escape. In a lot of ways, The Return of Ishtar was even more innovative a game than Druaga. It was less dense and more approachable than Druaga, and its impressive RPG depth became a lot more accessible thanks to the inclusion of a password save feature. It also dared to be a cooperative action game. 2 players had to take control of Gil and Ki, and their abilities were asymmetrical in nature. The screen always oriented around Ki, who was more vulnerable to enemy attack, while the second player could only take Gil as far as the screen would reveal. It was a strange game, but an interesting one. While the Druaga series has largely been forgotten these days, The Return of Ishtar neatly demonstrated Namco's towering ambitions as an arcade manufacturer, not to mention the sheer creativity of Druaga creator Masanobu Endo. For US Gamer, I'm Jeremy Parrish. Please join us again tomorrow for another day in video game history.